Unfortunately, Chris Ayre, who many of you may know as the English voice actor of Frieza, passed away. Frieza is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time, and Chris was my favorite voice actor for him, so this was upsetting for me. But the people who really knew him are grieving the most, so my thoughts go out to them. To honor his legacy as Frieza, I decided to make a video going over the power of the evil Emperor Lord Frieza. Even in his first form, Frieza was capable of destroying entire planets, and his famous feat of destroying planet Vegeta is a perfect example of this. His power level was 530,000, and someone like Nail, who had a power level of 42,000, couldn't even leave a scratch on him, even when he just stood there and let him get his licks in. Nail's power level was about twice that of Saiyan Saga Vegeta's, who supposedly had the power to destroy the Earth with his Gallic gun. Based off this, attacks capable of obliterating the Earth shouldn't even be strong enough to scratch Frieza in his first form. This isn't the limit of his power though, as Frieza is of course known for his ability to transform, and is the very character who spawned the meme, "This isn't even my final form." His power level in his second form is over 1,000,000, and turned Vegeta, who just made his first form struggle, into a fear-stricken manlet. After transforming again, he easily defeated Piccolo, who was about even with his second form. And then of course there's his final form, or at least his final form at that point in time, which was able to completely decimate everyone not named Goku. Even Vegeta's full power blast said to be able to destroy the planet got kicked away like a soccer ball. His death beams were so fast Piccolo couldn't keep track of them, and said all he saw was a flash of light. Keep in mind a much weaker version of Piccolo could shoot a ki blast to the moon in seconds. Frieza also has an attack called Imprisonment Light Ball, and Piccolo said Goku broke free from the ball of light the instant it exploded. Goku was able to block multiple death beams from Frieza, and outrun the explosion of his light ball. So that's two examples of him outspeeding attacks compared to light. And considering a suppressed Frieza was even faster than him, I think it's pretty fair to say Frieza was faster than light at this point in time. At the bare minimum with absolute lowballing, he's at least close to it. It's in his final form where he destroyed planet Namek's core, which inevitably led to its destruction. However, it's made clear he could have destroyed it in one shot, but he accidentally held back too much power, likely due to the fear of getting caught in his own explosion. It wouldn't kill him though, as Frieza can survive in the vacuum of space, but apparently getting caught in Namek's explosion would have some repercussions for him, as he later said he didn't want to get caught in the explosion as he would lose even more power. Earlier I said an earth-busting attack couldn't even scratch Frieza, so you would think Frieza shouldn't be worried about a planet blowing up on him, but it's possible Namek is just a bigger planet than Earth. King Cold even said Earth was a small planet and that they could easily blow it up with a single shot. The Daizenshu has Frieza's maximum power level at 120 million, which is just over 226 times stronger than his first form. Jupiter has about 318 times the mass of Earth, so Frieza should have the power to destroy just about any planet. I have seen people argue Namek Saga Frieza was dwarf star level or even higher, but I find this questionable, as if that was the case, I doubt he would be worried about any planet blowing up on him, no matter the size. Star level Frieza came from a calculation of the destruction of planet Vegeta, but I think there are a few problems with that. Trying to find the size of planet Vegeta based off it having 10 times Earth's gravity doesn't really work when you realize King Kai's planet also has 10 times Earth's gravity and is tiny. You could argue this is due to King Kai's planet being affected by magic, but many people don't actually realize that decreasing the radius of a planet actually increases the experienced gravitational pull on the surface, and it actually does so at a faster rate than increasing the mass of the planet, and I've never seen that taken into account in any of these calculations. The visuals of the planet's destruction also keep changing each time it's shown, and each one would give a different calculation. So I don't think calculating the power of the attack based off how big and dense you think the planet is, and how the animators decided to draw the explosion that day is the most accurate way of finding Frieza's power. Frieza is written to be someone who can easily destroy planets, so he's definitely above baseline planet level at full power, but I don't think there's enough evidence to convincingly call him any sort of starbuster. However, this was just Frieza's power without training a day in his life. After being brought back by the Dragon Balls and training for just 4 months, he reached an entirely new level of power. In his first form, he was strong enough to where a rusty Super Saiyan Gohan and Piccolo stood no chance against him. After fusing with Kami, Piccolo became as strong as Android 17, and then he became even stronger after training in the hyperbolic time chamber and the time skips between arcs. We don't know how much weaker Gohan got, but as a Super Saiyan he was still clearly stronger than Piccolo. Frieza would at bare minimum have to be on par with one of Cell's imperfect forms, and would be more likely closer to Cell's perfect form in power, unless you think Piccolo barely grew in power at all. This would put Frieza's power in this form at around star to solar system level, as Cell in his super perfect form was solar system level based off his own assessment. It's possible Frieza in his first form could be even beyond Cell's super perfect form, but I don't think there's anything that actually indicates that. I also think there's a reason Boo was written out of Resurrection F. In his final form, his power level even surprised Goku and Vegeta, who've already become gods, and was able to go toe-to-toe with base Goku. Base Goku's power at this point is somewhat questionable, but if we go by the logic of his Super Saiyan form retaining the power of his Super Saiyan God form, and how he got stronger since then, his base form should be less than 50 times weaker than his Super Saiyan God form when fighting Beerus. In the anime-only arc, base Goku was able to fight on par with Copy Vegeta, who was able to absolutely stomp Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, who was on par with Super Buu. This would mean Final Form Frieza after training was above most Buu arc characters. Super Buu after absorbing Gotenks and Gohan, as well as Vegito, are the only possible exceptions. However, in the anime, it was stated that Super Buu with Gohan absorbed was going to destroy the universe by causing alternate dimensions to crush it. In Super Saiyan God, Goku and Beerus clashing were creating shockwaves that were stated to be capable of eventually wiping out the entire universe. And there are multiple statements in that fight hyping up universe-level power. So Frieza being at least somewhat relative to Super Buu with Gohan absorbed, and being less than 50 times weaker than Super Saiyan God Goku, should mean his power is at least somewhat relative to universe level. At the very least, he should be above Kid Buu, who was destroying galaxies relatively quickly, at least in the anime. Frieza having universe-level power becomes unquestionable with his final form, Golden Frieza. In this form, he became even stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku, which is Super Saiyan God with Super Saiyan Ki on top of it. He did have a stamina weakness in this form, and eventually lost the fight and came out of his golden form, but even while in his not-so-final form, he just casually blew up the Earth before he could be killed off. He could really use this tactic to beat most Dragon Ball characters, but unfortunately for him, Whis just happened to be there and reversed time so Goku could kill him. While hanging in his cocoon in Hell, Frieza became even stronger with image training and corrected his stamina weakness. During the Tournament of Power, he was on par with a stronger Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and was even able to deal with God of Destruction Ki, but only in small doses, as he was overwhelmed by God of Destruction Toppo, though he did manage to survive the blast, and ended up being one of the last contestants left in the ring. That Destruction Blast changed the sky of the infinite world of Void, or at least as far as we could see, and when you realize that the Super Dragon Balls are each about 3 times as wide as Earth, you can see the area affected was pretty massive. In terms of speed, these characters have become impossibly fast to accurately measure at this point, but even in regards to other God tiers, Frieza's fast, as he was able to keep up and even outspeed base Dispo, who was blitzing Super Saiyan God Goku and hit. After entering his Super Maximum Light Speed mode, Dispo became so fast not even the God pad Zeno was using could keep up. And this was something that wasn't even stated about Jiren and Ultra Instinct Goku. While he wasn't quite as fast as him, Frieza was still able to just barely keep up to block and dodge. After the Tournament of Power, Frieza was brought back to life as a reward, and Vegeta fears him growing even stronger, which is a pretty likely scenario as Frieza knows how strong Goku is now, and that he needs to catch up. In the Broly movie, Frieza managed to last an hour against Super Saiyan Broly, who Goku and Vegeta stood no chance against without fusing, meaning he should be stronger than God of Destruction Toppo, who Frieza only lasted a few seconds against. So if you don't chalk this feat up to just being a comedic scene of Frieza getting beaten up for an hour, it's actually a pretty impressive feat and an indication he's gotten stronger. Frieza's also been mentioned multiple times in the current manga arc, and I think it's likely he's going to be coming back soon. And if he becomes relative to current Goku and Vegeta, that would mean Frieza's speed would also be faster than instantaneous teleportation. Besides just having incredible raw stats and basic ki blasts like most Dragon Ball characters have, Frieza also has telekinesis, which he has used to his advantage in combat multiple times. He also has a technique very similar to Krillin's Destructor Disc, which he can control remotely. And they seemingly have the ability to cut through characters even stronger than himself. Though they are a double-edged sword, and Frieza seems to have PTSD from them as he's never used them since his little incident. That about sums up the power of Frieza, at least for now. I'm looking forward to seeing his evil exploits in the future, though it won't be quite the same without Chris. To finish this video off, I just want to play a few of my favorite clips of him voicing Frieza.
Go on! You may thank me. I've been more than merciful, it's only polite! Ha ha! Your threats are as empty as your title. All hail Vegeta, Prince of No One.
What I want is to increase my height by 5 full centimeters.
But why only 5 centimeters?
Any more than that would be too noticeable. Don't you understand?
Not entirely.
I want it to look like I'm still growing, that this is natural.
Yes, of course, my lord.